All right, so most of the people coming to mobility through me are going to have a background in either strength training or endurance work. Both can be pretty grueling and quite intense. And so relatively often people will look at this mobility training as this very soft or very easy type of work, when to the contrary, it operates on the same principles of creating tension and building strength. We're just doing it at an extended range of motion rather than in these biomechanically efficient positions that are more common with endurance sports, like something like cycling or weightlifting, where you're trying to squat in this perfect position with this great joint alignment and everything lined up so you can produce the most power. So I think the runner stretch is something that is really easy to demonstrate this principle of tension. And so let's look at the movement and talk about where the tension comes from, how we create it, and how that helps us actually get a little bit stronger and increase the range further as we work through a set. So I'm gonna set up here, front foot on the slider. I like a pad for my back knee. So here, as I slide out, if I don't really apply any tension or push, this is about as far as I'm gonna get and come back in. So for me, this is nowhere near my maximum range of motion. So the first thing I want to think about in this particular drill is pushing off my back foot. And so as I push through this leg, you'll see that now, simply by pushing through those toes, I've already pushed myself to a longer range of motion. So this is just demonstrating, in a specific instance, creating just a little bit of active force is going to extend out that range of motion. Now, if I add from the same idea, pushing from my front leg as well, so I'm pushing forward on my left leg and also reaching, driving that heel forward on my right, you can see that I get that little bit extra. And you see I'm shaking, working pretty hard. So by being active and really pushing to create our range, we're going to start to explore and find that range of motion. I don't simply want to get out here and just relax and let gravity do all the work and just kind of let myself settle into it. That is a form of stretching, but for these reps and the type of exercises we're doing in the program, that's not going to be as effective for what we're after. So let's go a little bit more into it. So if I create that push on both sides, here now, I can squeeze and start to create tension into the floor, pushing that heel down, and that's gonna flex these muscles that have been stretched. It's hard work, but then once I relax, you'll see that I can get a little more range. So every time I push out, I wanna create that reach, I wanna create that flex and tension. And over the course of the reps within each set and set to set, I'm going to be able to build more and more range and strengthen more and more range, and then extend it out over weeks and months. That range is going to start to become permanent. Let's look at one more instance here. Typically, if you've been doing the programs, you've seen that I'll do something like 10 reps plus a 10-second hold, or 10 reps plus a 30-second hold. And so that 30-second hold is going to operate on very similar principles of staying active that we were just checking out for those reps. So now if I'm going to extend out into my best range, and if I'm going to stay here for 30 seconds, I'm not just going to kind of hang out and just wait for the time to go by and relax. I'm going to keep pushing through both legs. I'm going to create that tension and then relax and settle into it. Create that tension, relax and settle into it. And I'm still, even when I'm relaxing, I'm simply relaxing and pushing longer into it and no longer creating that downward force, but I'm not just completely relaxing and letting everything go. And so that way we create a little better range of motion through our reps. And then once we get out to that best range of motion that we're gonna get for that set, that's why we spend that time in that 10 to 30 second hold at the end, is to really reinforce those gains, create tension, build strength, and then over time we trust this process and this active hard work methodology to build larger and larger range throughout each training cycle. So hopefully that conceptually makes sense. If it's helpful, I can make some more of these type videos with different exercises, pigeon pose, pancake stretch, middle split, whatever the case may be. But try to apply this concept to all of the drills that we're doing, especially the ones with reps and sets, and you will make far better progress in your mobility.